Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 172. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there be whiskey. My name is John, and I am joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
well, I am here in the
Mm-hmm.
podcast, so good. Things
Mm-hmm.
are looking up. We're thinking positive thoughts.
Yeah, if we can get all the technical issues before we go live done and out of the way, then we're winning.
Right? Right? Yeah, chalk it up. Count it. 1 point.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're back. It's been a hot minute. Work is making things difficult, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
on and off. We'll do the best we can, but we're here this week to talk about the Penguin, DC's,
Mm-mm.
Max's, should say HBO Max's, what Discovery, Warner Brothers, the Penguin episodes one
throw
and
throw
two.
another company in there just for funsies.
Yeah. Um, it's I know episode 3 is available. We're gonna be talking
hmm
about 1 and 2, so if you're a little ahead of us, I apologize. If you are, a little behind us, then catch up. So, yeah, we will be getting into spoilers with that. Um, Before that, I just wanna say, hey, make sure that you like the stream. Right now, we're live on, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube, so you can give us the thumbs up, a subscribe, a follow, in all those places. We're on X as well, not live, but we have an account there. And then we'll be on podcast directories. Make sure you check out like Spotify. You can get our video version, and there is an option in there to like support the channel on that. And if you'd like to, please do so. Basically, what that would go to would be like we use Restream, and that's a monthly fee to have that. So it's going to go to that basically. So. Um, yeah. Andrea looks like she's frozen, so we're just gonna roll with it and see what happens. If I have to monologue this whole episode, I will do it. Okay. Um, but all right, we'll continue on. Hopefully, Andrea is able to come back. Let's talk a little bit about our drink holidays. There's been a lot since we were on here last. I'm going to narrow it down a little bit to some of the more recent ones. We had a big holiday for the fall was Oktoberfest. That was September 21st through October 6th. So you got a lot of leeway there. September 28th was Drink Beer Day. Goes along with Oktoberfest. That's perfect. And then this month is you got Sake Day was the 1st of October, and then the 4th of October was National Vodka Day. So lots of drink choices. If you are so inclined, very interested what Andrea has to drink. She's probably really feeling like she needs a drink right now. If I had to wager a guess, I have an Oktoberfest. I have way too many Oktoberfest beers and Oktoberfest adjacent beers remaining. So I figured I better dip into one here. This is a Third Street Brewhouse Oktoberfest. It is 4.6 alcohol by volume. And yeah, it's just a quality, what you would think of Oktoberfest kind of deal from a local brewery. So cheers, prost, salute, all that sort of thing. Okay. Um, Getting messages from Andrea. Internet went internet went out. Be back as soon as possible. That's fine. That's fine. Let's hope her internet comes back. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about what I've been up to these last few weeks. Um, I managed to watch a lot. Again, it's been a while since we've had a regular episode, so sticking strictly to not anime things. Been trying to get in horror movies for spooky season, and not related to that, we're watching the Kingsman movies. So I don't know why this came up exactly or what spurred on starting these again, but I've watched both the first and the second Kingsman movie now. Oh, I know what it was. It was the same director, writer, creative team, whatever, did Argyle. And I talked about Argyle a few weeks back or whatever. And so having watched that, it's like, okay, it's maybe time to check out the Kingsman movies again. Um, Matthew Vaughn, the director, writer of that stuff. So they hold up. It's worth they're worth a watch. They're really, you can tell they're designed to be, hey, we kind of miss the James Bond movies of, fun ones of old. And so let's do our rendition. And that's what those two are. So now we just have to watch the third one yet, which is The King's Man and a prequel. So we have seen it, but time to rewatch that one. Andrea is back. Let's see for how long. I I told everybody I'd monologue the entire episode if I have to. So, you know, don't make me do it. Oh
Oh
Jesus. Oh,
man.
oh, there you are. Okay. It's not starting out good, Andrea.
All the fun I'm having tonight.
I need to get over there and look at like what technology you guys got going on. I'm gonna go over there and you got routers from 1997 and like I'm blowing the dust off. I don't know.
Please, please, for God's sake. I don't know, man. We need like the services of a professional to diagnose the connectivity issues in this house.
I mean, but you do like Zoom meetings and stuff, right? I mean, you still have that. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
if that works out.
Although they do occasionally like to, throw in a meeting where I'm just like frozen for extended periods of time. So I hope that like I've frozen on a good, you know,
Yeah.
facial
hmm
expression.
hmm
Um, that I can fake it until I make it. So, Oh, hey Chris. You want to be in the
I hope it's a
podcast too?
sour expression when, your boss is talking. That's what I hope.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Or just me in the middle of mouthing like WTF. Like
Yeah. Right.
what?
Okay, well, I've gone through some of the drink holidays already. I stole your job. I'm
Excellent.
sorry. I was going through it.
What is
Um
the point of me?
I said I'm drinking an Oktoberfest. What do you got? You have anything there? I was saying you probably
Solid.
really feel like needing a drink right now.
I did. So yeah, so I went and made myself a little something. Um yeah, it's kind of I'm feeling like I'm combining the September and October months rather than days because September
Okay.
is Bourbon Heritage Month. It's also California Wine Month. October is National Applejack Month. So I did like a fall sangria with bourbon, white wine, and apple cider, and a little
Oh,
bit of Applejack. So
cool.
cheersy.
Yeah. Cheersy. Yeah. It's that does sound very very fallish. Fallish and festival.
Yes,
Festivus.
yes. It's all of those things. It is
Yeah.
refreshing, but still like cozy because of the bourbon. So yeah, 2 thumbs
hmm
way, way up.
Nice. All right. So what have you been watching? It's been a while, but what have you been watching? It looks like you managed to watch a lot of spooky stuff. Anything that's really stood out?
Yes. Yes, so I'm totally in the mood for like all things, October, fall, spooky season, Halloween's coming up. I'm deeply into all of like free forms like this is our, month of October, Casper, Beetlejuice, Hocus Pocus. I've watched all of that at least twice now already. Um, I watched all of Halloween Wars season 13 and have started the first 3 episodes of this current season 14 because I love Halloween Wars. Um, and then I was looking for something spooky because I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch, um, or like the new one that came out, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I was looking for something in that kind of genre. So I tried episodes 1 of a lot of shows to see what I might like. I tried Mayfair Witches, I tried Salem, I tried Sleepy Hollow, Out of those 3, I can tell you Mayfair Witches seemed awful.
Okay.
It is only episode 1, but, like, I
No, Andrea. Well, I'm gonna have to make up what you thought of the other ones. Mayfair Witches episode 1, awful. Salem, I'm gonna guess you thought was okay, but maybe you've seen this before. And Sleepy Hollow, I'm gonna say you thought that was maybe the most promising of the bunch. Just my guess. I have no idea. That's what I'm that's what I'm going with. I think I'm surprised I've never heard of any of these. Like CB Hollow to me, I'm like, that's the movie. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tim Burton's movie when I think of Sleepy Hollow. Salem I could be interested in, but I kind of did a hey, I was guessing what you thought of the remaining shows. I
okay.
was just guessing.
Do you think?
I thought that you maybe were figuring Salem seemed okay, but maybe you'd seen it before, a little familiar, and that Sleepy Hollow was like of the bunch the most promising.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, John.
Wow. All right.
Yes, 10 out of 10. You know me too well. It's spooky. We should stop hanging out because you're inside my brain.
Clearly,
Yes,
because
no,
I don't even know what these shows are. I have no context for them.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, so I watched Salem episode 1 like a very long time ago and I was like, "You know what? I'm going to give it a retry because I really want to get into something." And I still couldn't do it. Um
Hmm.
the only I think recognizable actor that you would just, from a name is Shane West is in it.
Oh,
And,
okay.
he is okay-ish. He seems
Hmm.
fine. But yeah, just couldn't stomach the story even though the effects were kinda cool. Sleepy Hollow
Okay.
seems really awesome. I've heard from some people it doesn't end the best, so I'm kind of sad that I
Hmm.
really like it, but I'm gonna keep going and just like, "F it, let's go for it."
Okay.
And then I randomly watched Mortal Instruments: City of Shadow and Bone. I'm not really sure why it was on TV, and I was just like, "Nah, that seems like spooky demons, angels, whatever."
Hmm.
Movie was okay-ish, so I thought maybe I'll shift into the TV show because 'cause I'd heard some good things about that, and it was like
I'm gonna finish this one now. And it was so I'm guessing you're talking Shadowhunters because I can see your notes here. And it was like maybe not feeling connected enough, to the movie. Be maybe my thought on that. I feel like the pressure's on because I got the other ones so right. Um, but yeah. Alan's asking if we need to call this one. I think we might. We're gonna have to at least. If it doesn't clear up soon, we'll have to call it before we get into the penguin because the penguin discussion obviously won't work that way. So we'll wait to see if Andrew comes back and if anything stabilizes. I'm going to talk about a couple more things. If that doesn't, if things don't stabilize, then we're just going to have to wait even longer to have our talk about the penguin, and then we'll probably cover, you know, more episodes. So cross your fingers, everyone. Jump in the chat, contribute. What do you want to talk about? What do you think about spooky season? What have you been watching? I've managed to watch The Company of Wolves. It's a 1984 film, and there was some really cool stuff about it. The effects were good. There was some cool transformations, and they were always a little different. Art style was on point, so I enjoyed my time. But the story was confusing, so it's worth a watch. Um, and I think I'm not looking this up. I don't know. I think it's the same person as Interview with the Vampire. And I can see that kind of thing. in this. So yeah, The Company of Wolves, 1984. That was fun. The Others, rewatched The Others, but I hadn't seen, with Nicole Kidman, I hadn't seen that in years. So it felt almost like watching it for the first time. I knew there was a twist, but I didn't know how it went. And at the time of seeing, I didn't know Christopher Eccleston, so it's cool that he's in it. But yeah, The Others, it's been a while since I've seen Nicole Kidman in something, and now she's gonna be in this new movie coming out for Christmas that I'm interested in. She's good, you know? I feel like the last thing I saw her in was Aquaman, so that's that. Oh, Andrew's back. Uh, if I think you were saying you could hear
And she's
me,
not alone.
so what's that?
Oh, I said she's back and she's not alone.
Nope, nope. Um,
Chris
so
did that cute little over
yes.
the shoulder pose there.
Yeah. Huh? Me? You talking okay. Alan and I agreed. If we get up to the penguin here and things haven't stabilized, we'll have to call it and come back another night. But we'll uh we'll give it this one last go here. Um
One last
I
gasp. I like
also watched Long Legs. It was the last horror thing I was gonna mention. It's
ooh,
a yeah,
sounds creepy
it
and
is
like the
creepy.
stuff of
It's
people's nightmares.
I
Am I
really
incorrect in
thought
assuming it's about spiders?
no, you are incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, now I'm intrigued.
It kind of made a splash earlier this year. I think it was this year already yet. Well, I think it was this year yet. And Nicolas Cage is in it. And it reminded me when I saw the
Mm,
trailer of very sort of Control, the video game, or maybe like Twin Peaks or something like that. And so it's a crime thing, but it's good. It's one of those movies that it came out and it reviewed very well, but then you started hearing opinions and it was very mixed in terms of like
okay,
you kind of either really clicked with it or really didn't. So like it was
sure.
not that you hate it, it just wasn't what I expected or whatever. And for me, it clicked. I really liked it a lot.
Okay.
Um, it was creepy in the right ways. It was very um it was well done. And I've been complaining recently about movies and shows that are shot, especially with Shogun, where they do the really wide angle shots once in a
Mhm.
while. Don't like them, seems cheap, but they
Yeah.
they have it can maintain a wide angle lens in this movie, and with the color grading and everything on it, keeping things centrally focused, it just adds to the creepy factor. And I liked it here, so
Love it.
strong thumbs up for Long Legs. Yeah.
So, I was wondering where Longlegs comes from. I see it's Nick Cage's character. How does he get long legs? Like, is there
I am not
would
saying
you spoil
anything.
it?
I
Would
no,
you
I'm not
spoil
gonna
it if
say
you said
anything.
it?
Um, no, I just don't want to comment. I don't want to comment.
Alright. I'm just
It,
intrigued because, like, I
yeah,
heard long legs and all I could think of because I'm a Midwesterner is, like, daddy long legs, so I was just thinking, like,
right.
this is obviously spiders. So
Yeah, that should be a person's
or
nick.
now that I know it's Nick Cage, it's like, obviously he's a daddy.
Yeah, yeah, that should be his. That should be his real world. Like, he's not that tall, but if he was taller,
Nah.
sounds good. Okay, so yeah, that's what I've been up to. Let's hear your breakdown or your summation, your thoughts on Sleepy Hollow episode 1. I forget now what I kind of said about it. I think wait, no, sorry. Shadowhunters, because that was the TV
Yes.
version. So Shadowhunters, I was guessing that it was kind of that you were enjoying it, but it felt disconnected from the movie. Like it didn't feel enough
Yes.
in the same.
Yes. It's
Oh my
they're
god,
2
I'm good.
very No, seriously, you need to get out of my head. Chris is gonna start getting jealous. Um, no, it's crazy because yes, their world designs are very different. The lighting, the mood setting, the like actual, set pieces, dressing, like it's so different. It makes me crazy. And then everything that is, I would say, like casting wise, plot wise, that is good about the movie sucks in the TV show. And then, like, the casting and the plot lines that I could tell were happening from the TV show that are the similar element in the movie suck in the movie. So they can't just make like one good product. It's just like, hey, half of this movie is really good and half of it sucks. And then like half of this TV show seemed to suck and half of it was good. And it was really annoying. Just be like,
Right.
why couldn't we take like this and just make a good thing instead of two half good things? So it was kind
Yeah.
of like bothering me to watch the TV show, because I was just like, "Ooh, if you just done this in the movie, I feel like they could have carried it forward and made a whole series." But no, like you just had to do like split it up and make it half and half. So it was driving
Yep.
me a little bit bonkers. Like the division was just everywhere. So I don't
Okay.
know if I can continue with Shadowhunters or not,
Okay.
which is fine
Yeah.
because I have other things to watch. And I think Sleepy Hollow is still the most promising out of all of these things
Okay.
watched.
Nice. All right. All right. We're I'm about to transition. I'm about to transition into, our topic here. You froze momentarily for a second, but like, you're back here. So let's see. Let's
I
see.
don't know what to do with my
Um
hands. Car run real
yeah,
good today.
first want to say, have you seen how badly the Joker is bombing?
Yes. Oh god. Oh,
Wow.
it's rough. It is
Yes.
rough. Ooh, yeah.
It's pretty stunning. I wouldn't have anticipated that.
Yeah,
So,
I've read multiple reviews where reviewers were like, "Never have I been so strongly tempted to walk out of a theater," or like, "Never has a movie been so joyless or such a
right.
chore to watch and review." And I'm just like, "My god, that's gotta hurt."
Yeah. Yep. Well, maybe we'll get into I've seen some breakdowns of the
Mhm.
timeline of this movie and how things have, unfolded, and maybe
Yeah.
someday we'll get into that a little more, but for the time being, Warner Brothers, a company already in debt, is
Yeah.
losing it big time on this one. So,
I do
yeah.
wanna point out that in every review, or almost every review, I would say a majority at least that I have read, because I did get interested, when reviewers started just hating on it so much. I was like, "Does everybody
Yeah.
feel this way?" Everybody feels this way. Nobody thus far has really, you know, damned Joaquin Phoenix or Lady Gaga for their performances.
Right.
That doesn't seem
Yes.
to be the issue.
No.
It's definitely like a storytelling issue,
It's a
whether
story
it's
issue. Yes.
yeah, whether it's like the actual mechanics of storytelling or it's, the plot line or both in some
Mhm.
cases. Like, yeah, it definitely seems to be on Todd Phillips here and other
Yeah.
part.
Oh man. Oh no. We were just gonna I don't think we can risk it. I don't think we can risk it. That's what we Oh wait. Ah,
I
now
know,
you're
I
like
know. I
fast
could see
forwarding
my
through the whole
I
thing.
know, I'm like catching up. I could see my face forwarding or my face freezing and now I can see myself fast forwarding. It's very creepy.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think we can risk it.
Okay.
Like, right? Because we'll get into the actual discussion of it, and it will be
And then we'll get into the meat of it and what?
yeah, yeah. Like, I don't want it to be too again, I can talk, like, there's no problem. I can just keep filibustering, but for the audience, I feel
You can
like
really do both
they
of us because you've just, like, guessed everything I'm gonna say tonight.
well, I have your
John's just
show
gonna
notes,
talk
so
over here.
mhm.
just back and
Mm,
forth in each frame and just go and argue with himself and read my notes.
mhm. Yeah, with the notes, it might work out.
Yeah,
Okay, well, let's give this a try on another night. Hopefully, we can make it work this week. Maybe we can manage an episode 3 as well, and we can just get all 3 in here before
sure.
the 4th episode drops. That would be fun. Um, I'm I would like to watch it tonight. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah. Okay, everybody. Disregard the title of this episode. We're gonna have to release this as sort of like a bonus thing, or it's just like
Right.
this live thing that you watched or whatever,
Halloween
and there
Halloween
it is.
spooky grab bag. That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
call
Hmm, hmm.
it.
John tests his psychic abilities. Night.
I mean, seriously, you should go like scratch a lottery ticket or just do something like with this crazy good intuition you have right
Hmm.
now.
Yeah. Hmm.
Go invest in some stock. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or maybe
This
I
is
should
my.
let you pick my fantasy football team for this week.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, I don't think that'd work out. I mean,
I
maybe.
found your line. You're like, "This is it.
Yeah.
This is where I
Yeah.
quit."
My powers are not so grand. Yes. Just to pick the draft or well, no, you draft already. How is your team doing?
I'm good. I have 3 teams actually.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot. But I am 4 and 1, 3 and 2, and 3 and 2. So, I'll take it.
okay. Nice. Yeah, that is good. Well, and the Vikings, hey. Hey
Yeah,
now.
how about them Vikings? It's all
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
Chris is happy. Y'all
Yeah.
deserve it. You guys had some pretty crappy years, so good job.
It's alright. You know, it's not gonna amount to anything. It's gonna amount to getting into the playoffs, and that'll be about it.
And then yeah, somebody on the radio today, I was listening to just some sports radio kind of actually by accident, but they were like, "Oh yeah, they were having an interview with the team and Justin Jefferson was saying, the offense was really sluggish against the Jets. Half of our points came from two 50+ yard field goals. And we can't rely on that in the postseason." I was like, damn straight you can't. And also, what a self burn.
Right?
Like, I mean, I know it's not
Yeah.
him, but it's his own team. And he was
Yeah.
just like, I know my history. I know what happens to us in the playoffs. Like,
Yep.
can't fucking rely on those field goals.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Okay, I don't know. You're coming in perfectly clear. We're gonna get into this, and as soon as it goes, Alan, just cut us off. Okay.
all right.
Okay. Just end it.
Maybe
As
it's
soon
episode
as
one.
as soon
Maybe
as
it's episode one.
yeah. Okay. The Penguin. Something we hopefully can count on to be good. I don't know. We've watched 2 episodes now. It's a show that I've been really looking forward to. Matt Reeves, who did the Batman,
Hmm.
is producing and kind of responsible for this. He got the showrunner involved and talked about the kind
Hmm.
of story they want to tell and whatever. And they wanted to bring Colin Farrell's Penguin back. They didn't think
Hmm.
they had enough time with him in the movie, and this is a thing that takes place right after the film and kind of leads up to the next Batman movie. So
Hmm.
it's this fun in between. I really like what they're doing with this. I read the sort of book that's sort of a prequel to the Batman.
Hmm.
Then we get the Batman, and
Interesting.
then now we have the Penguin, which is sort of a little sequel. So, after 2 episodes, what do you think,
Mhm.
Andrea?
I think this show is gonna be solid. Yeah, I saw my connection playing with us there a little bit. Um, so no, I think the show is gonna be solid. I think there are a few exposition story points that need to be, a little bit smoothed out and dug into. And I think there are some effects that could be improved. But I really have to say, like, overall, I really like the direction of this show. I like the time it's at. I like the focus. And I really am enjoying the character study, not just of, you know, Oz here, but of the whole, you know, family. And
Sure.
I don't just mean, like the Maroney versus Oh my gosh.
S- uh,
Right, right. It's blanking
um,
in my brain. Um,
uh,
right? Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad like it happened to you too. 'Cause I was just like,
um,
begins with a C.
yeah, Sal Maroni. We got that. So we got Maroni.
The Maroni.
Um,
Yep.
and Falcone.
Falcone, thank you. I was like, there's a C in there. It's in the middle. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, so I love like the whole like spread between like both families. And I love the like little mini family Oz is sort of building for himself. You know, has built some of it, adding to I like this
Yeah.
story here. So yeah, so I love the character study. I think, our two leads, Colin Farrell and Kristen Milioti, are going to be excellent foils, verbal sparring partners, emotional, like, I don't know, powerhouses with each other that I think they really bring like attention to a scene. And I really didn't know if Kristen Milioti was going to be like the caliber needed for this role. And so far, she's doing a very good job proving me wrong. Like,
Yeah, I know you'd
she's
mentioned.
she's really solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you'd mentioned before, just off the previews, that you were a little uncertain,
Hmm.
and and
Yeah.
that put me on edge too when I started. I was like, "Oh, maybe she's not gonna be good," and then I was immediately, it's like, "Yes, she is the right kind of crazy."
Hmm.
She just
Yes.
sells that.
I think really, I haven't seen her in too many of serious roles, and I've always thought she's done fine, not, excelled. And I also think one of my worries was that she looks so waifish and soft that I wondered if she could bring the crazy and bring the like steel
Mm,
necessary for
mhm.
this role, and I wasn't sure about it.
Sure.
And so far she's doing a really solid job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something I've appreciated about the show is that no character feels underappreciated.
Mhm.
Everyone seems to make sense. They kind of have we get a little context to them. Motivations are clear. Uh, yeah, it's
Mhm.
not just, it doesn't feel, it feels full, the
Yes.
world and the situation that's
Yes.
going on feels complicated and true. So,
Mhm.
um, I'm I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far. I When it first started, it was kind of like with your two shows, your movie and your TV show version, because
Mhm.
I really like the Batman more than a lot
Yes.
of people, and it's visually, to me, one of, if not maybe the best shot movie ever. It's just so up my alley and
Damn.
gorgeous, and so I wasn't expecting that in the show, but it's a little hard sometimes to see this version of Gotham or whatever, and it just isn't the same fidelity. It
Yeah.
just is not. And
Yeah.
it really would not normally be an issue. It's just comparing and being
Because
it's
you love it
supposed to be
so
the
much.
same world. Yeah,
Mhm.
that it's,
Yeah, I get
but
it.
in the second episode, it was really, I think by the second episode, I was kind of over it.
Yep.
I sort of had moved on from that issue. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally get
Yeah.
that. I think, my 2 issues with the show are very apparent in the first episode. Um, One is right away in the opening. They did such a great job with that opening, the newscasting, like flashing back, bringing us some pieces of what, happened in the Batman, catching us up to present day, which, isn't too far forward, but
Yeah.
enough that we needed a little bit of like level setting. And then the newscast closed with the newscaster being like, even those inside the Falcone operation have to be wondering about their positions and their standing and what's next. And I was like, no newscaster has ever wondered about, like, oh dear, what's the fate of those working in this major crime organization? Do they feel unsettled? What are they going to do with their future? Like, it was such like a it was such a good opening, and then they just, like, stumbled over this really horribly clunky exposition that they were, I know, setting up for this whole, like, Oz is having an internal struggle. Where does he fit? What does he do? Where does he go in the wake of the death of Carmine Falcone? But I was like, "You did not need to say that. That needed to be
Yeah.
100% unsaid." I got it just by watching the framing of the camera and the circling, it was there. So I was really annoyed about that. And then later on in the episode, when we first get introduced to Kristen Miliotti's Sophia, and she was like, "What was like, oh God, that is just like again, really clunky way of introducing her like supposed nickname, what she does, why she was at Arkham, her past." It was so just shoehorned in a most awkward way that I really felt could have been either
I was giving you a second.
that this
It's like, "Oh,
oh,
Andrea."
oh,
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 if
oh. How many
it
oops can
felt
we do?
really shoehorned in the
Yes, in the most awkward and forced way. It really could have been something that was shown to us or revealed by another character or just like dropped in there and talked more about later, maybe in a therapy session, you know. So I was just really frustrated with with that. Um it did seem to start resolving itself by episode 2, so I was pleased. So hopefully it's just like a world building exposition clunkiness and not like something that's going to persist throughout the show. Similarly, the only other issue I had was the special effects during the car chase of the first episode. I really
mm,
thought they were pretty bad.
okay.
And I do think there were effects elsewhere that were much better done, but yeah, the car chase, the like scenery going by that you could clearly tell wasn't real, like it really, I was so like thrown out of
Mm.
the action of the moment. And just sort of watching this like really bad landscape happening. So I
Yeah,
I, I hope that that's also resolved.
yeah, if I'd be interested in seeing some of the behind the scenes because it does feel like there's too much. Like, are we in the volume? Like they
Mhm.
kind of came up with on the Mandalorian and stuff like that,
Yeah.
versus the actual streets. And I know that stuff saves tons of money and great. I don't want you to be rings of power and waste gobs of money, but there is there is a line. And again, when you have the Batman to compare it to, it kind of
Mhm.
makes it.
With I mean, it's a nod back to the Batman because there was that epic car chase
Yeah,
with Penguin. Like that was your moment. That was your call out. That was your, like, hey, the film did it, we did it. And it was just sort of like, ooh, swing and a miss.
yeah. I guess maybe
These
it's
aren't
fair,
things
maybe
that would,
it's
like,
not.
ruin my whole perspective, but like you said, just when, like, things were so well done in something else, if you're going to do something that calls back to that, there should be, like, a solid level of quality there. Like, you should
Sure,
really pay extra attention to that detail. Otherwise, don't do it.
sure.
Well, hi,
I'm a
I have
pretty
all
big
kinds of guests tonight.
I'm a pretty big stickler for exposition, and the first one you mentioned with the newscaster, it did, like, cross my mind for a half second, like, "That's a little odd," but I don't
Right.
know exactly how you know, I don't live in a world where there are crime families that are known that are currently operating that the police are trying to deal with and aren't, or so I don't know exactly
Sure.
how they would. So I thought of it for a moment and that slipped by. The hangman thing, I actually didn't think about it at all in the moment. So I would have to watch the delivery of that again. Like, I don't
Sure.
know if it worked for me that she's crazy enough or whatever. Like, yeah, that one
It's
I'd
just
have to watch back.
I don't know, there's something so weird about saying something like, "What did they used to call me? The hangman?" Like, like, it's burned into your brain, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's such a clunky way of saying something, like, pretending you don't know about it. It bothers me, like,
Sure.
that setup bothers me, and I notice it not only here, but in, like, other things too, when people pretend that they don't know. It's a really fine line to walk to be, like, setting yourself up rhetorically to, like, deliver that information,
Right.
and
Exactly.
I don't think it was well done here.
Okay.
Could be a combination of the writing, could be a combination of, it's just, like, a weaker moment for Kristen Milioti, but yeah.
Sure. Let's see. Okay, so I like that this show is going it's just not afraid to go hard. It feels gangster-ish, you know. We had a torture scene with Oz. We
Ooh,
have
yeah. What'd
dismemberment
you,
and
what'd you think of that? In terms of both,
um
things that crossed my mind there that I would love to hear your thoughts on are, 1, Kristen Milioti wasn't doing any of it. She got her bodyguard to do it.
yep.
Did you
Mhm.
think that that was, like, in line with her as the hangman
I don't
and
know anything
maybe
about the
doing her
hangman.
own stuff?
I don't know anything about the hangman, and maybe this becomes a way of her, like, separating from, like,
Okay.
"I am all better," you know? "I am"
Sure.
you know? But also it sounds like she was targeting young girls and women and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we had that moment, which was amazing actually, with
Yes.
her older other friends. It's like, we should
Ooh, and
totally
her
go like we
daughter?
used to. Then her daughter shows up and
I was
she
genuinely
totally,
geeked.
yeah, but
Ooh.
played into it because she knew, like, look at this fake bitch. She doesn't care at
Yes.
all, and she
Yes.
thinks she still full on thinks I'm crazy, so
Mhm. Well,
yeah.
and clearly 2 minutes later, she's like, "Oh, we should go to Lake Como like we used to." And then her uncle Luca, we'll talk more about him, I
Yes.
think. But then 2 seconds later is like, "Oh, you look tired. You need a break. Why don't you go to Lake Como?" And I was like, "Boy, this isn't coincidental at all." Like,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
everybody's
it's,
talking about suddenly sending her off to Lake Como, so I wonder what's gonna happen, like, or what,
mhm.
Luca wants to happen.
This is a it's this is a just it's fun they're doing this with this character because of all the Batman comics I've read, there's not a lot on kind of this is treading new territory, for the Penguin, and
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with this sort of origin on anything, and so all this, like, minutia of, like, managing to, Oz try to play his
Mhm.
cards right, play both sides when he can. How is he gonna gain power here? Like, he's
Yeah.
just doing well to think on his feet, and then stuff like that, right? Like, why don't you go, like, trying to clearly dismiss her because we have things running. You're you're an unexpected card here. We didn't ask for.
Mhm.
So please get out of here. And so he's played it perfect to, you know, get a new partnership here, and
Yes.
it's so I don't know, it's just been it's all those, like, the exposition things aside, I think the cleverness of getting these A to B things and how
Mhm.
he's, like, building here is really good. And
Mhm.
the thinking on the feet in the second episode, "Oh, I'm gonna help you gotta say this to them, to the captive," you know? It's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
change of plans because my guy messed up.
Yep.
Kill him, plant the knife."
Yep.
It's just good. It's just good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
tense.
I think no, I think you just hit the nail on the head. The tension, the frenzy, the tightrope walking between, like, I made a note of it, like, now I have to switch, code switch and be on the Maroni side, Falcone side, like, back
Yeah.
and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It is at some point, I mean, right now it's clearly like an adrenaline rush and he's doing so well and he's, like, on top of it. It's clearly gonna build to the point where he just, like, can't control it, and it's gonna just evolve beyond what he can manage, and it's gonna be insane.
As
Um,
long as if if he's accrued the power before that happens,
right. If he
you know?
has, and that's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting to watch. Like
Mhm.
this simultaneous like spin, 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 but I'm also building my own power boy base here. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting. And I think the
Mhm.
show is doing something that is, it's been done before, somebody playing both sides in their own bid for power, but it's doing it in a really fantastic, gripping way. I'm still very riveted, and I think it's the characters.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do want to go back to one thing though about this like
Sure.
torture scene because I
Oh, yeah,
noted
yeah,
it
yeah.
also. Um, So the other thing, what did you think of like the makeup? Because obviously in our torture scene, Oz is completely naked. So,
Mhm.
and it's not Colin Farrell's body.
Mhm.
Unless
Or
he's
is it?
really got right, unless he's really just undergone a transformation, he's done a Christian Bale and really committed himself.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so what did you think? Because like it was something I noted right away that I thought was as good, at least facially, as the movie. I thought the makeup and the prosthetics that they put on
Yeah,
to make
that's
him
needed.
Oz
Yeah.
just rock solid.
E I don't know about I don't know about the body. Like,
Yeah,
he's
I did have a
it's
moment
a
too where
lot
I
of
was like,
hair, but it's
"Yeah,
like,
yep,
I don't know. Because if I think it's one of those things, if I didn't know that that's Colin Farrell and that's all prosthetic and everything, I don't think I'd think anything of it. But it's
yep,
because I know it's him, I'm,
yes,
like, hyper analyzing that
yeah,
disgusting form, it's like
yes." Same, absolute same. I did have a moment where I was like, "This is just sort of like a smaller version of Mike Myers in, like, the fat bastard suit." You know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit more realistic, reined in version of
I
that,
think
because it was
so,
so
yeah.
hairy. It was so
Mhm.
hairy. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I can't relate, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there like, "Hey, I've got all that
I mean,
hair,"
maybe.
like mhm,
Maybe. Yes.
mm,
But I like I said, I did think as far as, like, the facial makeup effects, prosthetics went, top quality, just
mhm,
as I remembered it from the movie.
yep. Um, I was a little weirded out by the music kind of early on.
Mm.
There's a couple strange little, ditties, but I like the Penguins theme. I
Mhm.
think that's cool, those, sort of odd strings. It works for him. Um, and then going forward, again, I think that I'm just getting sucked in enough to the drama that I'm not noticing now in episode 2. So be interesting
For the
how
music?
3. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the music more in episode 1 as well. Um, so I felt that I really liked the strings when they were in concert with other instruments. I did not like the sort of insidious like, silence and then suddenly like intense strings.
Oh, okay. I kinda liked
I
it. I kinda
I
like that.
didn't because
Okay.
because I just thought of Insidious because they do that exact same thing. So I was like, I've already associated this sort of sound with something else. So it I think it's my own personal hang up and I don't think it's anything to do for anybody else who isn't
Mhm.
so, in love with like the Insidious world and movies.
Sure.
I loved the hilarious throwback pics they had for, like, Oz's car radio.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed, like, these, like, oldies classics that they were pumping out, these, like, positive, good vibes, like,
Yeah.
elevator radio. It was
Pump me up.
really fun. Yeah. It was really fun to just, like, have this, like, sort of, you know, total takeout moment while he's beating somebody up, and he's like,
Mhm.
his car's just like, "Keep on dreaming." So, yeah, I enjoyed the music that way. But, yeah, I
Yeah.
liked I liked the whole orchestral sort of vibe that they had later on, rather than the,
Yeah,
like,
I
strings alone.
it's fun you bring up the, like, good vibes of the music and stuff because I listen to companion podcast for after the first episode. It's like
Mhm.
after that, I don't know if I want to until maybe I'm further along or something like that. But
Sure.
it just there's some things they said there that had me really intrigued for where they're going with the show. And uh the one thing I'll say is what Colin Farrell brought up. He's like, at one point he had asked someone and he nuanced that like family or something. It's like, am I being a dick to people? Am I just being too awful? Because he's like, I have to, I'm there first on set before everybody. I have to get in this makeup and there's no leaving it. Like I can't
Mhm.
take it off. And he's like, Oz goes to such dark places. Like it was getting to me, you know?
Sure.
And so I just like I'm excited to see the dark places he goes because they started out as yeah, sort of like they want you to get you to empathize and understand. We see his mother and the struggles that she's going through and
Mhm.
how, that's impacted him and he's wanting to make her proud and all that sort of thing. And yeah, like how does he, he's kind of giving this kid a chance, being
Mhm.
soft on the kid that could have just logically probably just disposed of,
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the first 2 episodes do really well at highlighting Oz's need for connection. He really is like he talks a lot, but he's really underneath it all like trying to reach out to people and like build that relationship. He really craves it. You can tell, and you can tell he also craves like recognition.
Mm,
He's valuable. He brings talent, insight, skills to this organization. And in the, death of Carmine Falcone, he's feeling like I'm adrift now. Nobody's recognizing what I
yeah.
brought and it was important. And so like part of taking the kid under his wing is like, somebody's going to see what I can do. Somebody's going to help me and I'm going to get what I deserve. But again, like there's a human element to it. It's not just like this ruthless like, you know, you have a talent that I feel like I can exploit for my own personal gain. Like he seems to genuinely care about the kid. So, yeah, I think there's definitely like a vulnerable, emotional side to Oz that we really really see in these first 2 episodes and then we're going to, you know, take off into darker places for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I also want to say I think the woman, I don't know her name, the woman playing his mom is doing a fabulous job
yeah.
with like walking the line between like the lucid parts and the dementia that she's clearly struggling with. Like the
Yeah.
kind of, off, my memory's not quite there. I'm a little bit emotionally, varied. My confusion, is interplaying in this scene and I'm not sure what's happening versus yeah, the like very with it together. I know I'm
Yep.
talking to my son Oz. Great tightrope walk by that
Yep.
actress.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, I can see Oz being a little upset because he was, Carmine and Falcone's kind of right-hand guy. And to his son's point, he knew he was skimming off the top and kept him around anyways,
Didn't care.
you know? So it's like clearly he's bringing enough value here that
Right.
it's
Right.
gonna that's not a problem. So
Right, he was, like, weighing the pros and cons, and he's like, "Whatever,
yeah,
like, it's the value you bring is enough to offset, like, I don't care a little bit here and there, whatever."
yeah. So yeah.
I do
Okay. Oh,
say
go
that
ahead.
I find it overall a little bit odd that, like, Oz got shuffled to the side so quickly if he really was
I
Carmine
think no one
Falcone's
else
right
liked him.
hand. I
You know,
yeah,
e
I mean, I guess it must be, like, a personality thing. That's the only thing I can come up with because 'cause I'm like, really in like this sort of organization, you really would, just totally cut out a right hand man that
Mhm.
completely, and
Yeah,
not
I
listen to
think
anything he has to say. It was a little at times it sort of kind of, yeah, I don't know, just like pinged me a little bit that I was just like, this is interesting that nobody cares.
it was shocking to me, like, it's not what I expected, but in,
Mhm.
like, what they're giving me in the show, I buy it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't anticipating that. Like, it would right, it would make more sense, but I can see someone, like, they have a confidant, a right-hand person, no one else likes them, they're kinda skeezy, and they only really deal with or do things for, and so they don't understand all the stuff that he takes care
They
of,
yeah, right,
or the
that he
right,
does,
or
yeah.
whatever, and, yeah, I don't know. I'd be pissed.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I mean, it's
Mhm.
very logical, it's very smart the way that that's set up. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, I think Oz is looking for connection and recognition, and he's just, like, continually shut off from that, so what else is he gonna do? Well, he's gonna build his own little power base.
Yep. Yep. Okay, I think if you got other things to say, go for it because your connection is there.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. Sophia, I in the first episode wasn't quite sure, but I really loved her and Oz's verbal sparring, the way that they
Mhm.
were kind of back and forth at each other. I love the small details that I think were added in terms of like the ravenous way she eats. Like, it
Mm,
totally makes sense for somebody who's, like, locked up in Arkham, deprived of so many things that she just, like, is like, "Whatever. Like, this is, my pleasure now, and I'm just gonna, like, stuff my face." I don't know why there's something so true in that detail. And
sure.
then going into, like, her therapy sessions, I dig the dynamic there. I think her therapist is gonna come in and have some sort of role to
That's
play.
right. I forgot about that. Mhm.
Yep. And then also her nightmares. I thought Kristen Milioti did a fabulous job with like the nightmares that were happening outside and inside of therapy. Like she's clearly
Mhm.
working through trauma with I think a version of like um oh gosh, it's like either EMDR or EDMR therapy with like the light bouncing from side to side.
Okay, sure.
All of that felt really amazing, and then, like, her waking up from the nightmare and, like, clawing her neck. I started noticing her outfits, like, all the scarves that she wore, the high neck, like, turtlenecks and
Sure.
things. Fabulous details about her character that I
Mhm.
can't wait to see how they all play out.
Sure. Yeah, the nightmares are
Just
almost
wanted to,
as
like,
convincing
yeah,
as
I just
Kristen
wanted to encompass all
Stewart's.
of that. Sorry, what was that?
Her nightmares are almost the performance was almost as convincing as Kristen Stewart and from New Moon. Yeah, almost.
Oh, god, why do you gotta bring it there?
I always do. Oh, is the coaster gonna stick? It did.
It did. It's
Um,
my,
cool. Yeah, no, I
special
agree. Oh,
coaster.
oh, nice. All right. Very cool. I like it. Um, the one other thing I want to bring up, I guess, that I mentioned or like an issue with is Oz needs to be careful going to visit the Maronis in
Yes,
prison in
yes.
Blackwater or whatever. It's like, who's not gonna snitch or you're gonna be found out somehow here? This seems very dangerous.
Yep, yep, I
So
completely agree. Also, they made a big deal in a lot of different scenes about his car, like his plum
yes.
car, which is beautiful and super recognizable.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, watch it, Oz,
Which
be
is
smart.
why he uses the other car to go to his mom's, so
Right,
but
right,
we
but,
should
like yep, think
yeah.
about that too, just think about that in all situations.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, we made it, Andrea. I think we made it. The Penguin episode 1 and 2, that's what we've got for that. Episode 3 is out. Episode 4 is coming this next week. So keep on keeping on. Thank you everybody for dealing with technical stuff. I hope it's not too hard to
Yes.
listen to and it seems just,
Thanks
fluid
y'all for
enough.
your patience.
Yeah. We we're only like, close to 4 years in on this. We don't usually have too many technical problems. It's so if you're
It's true,
new
this
here,
is,
it's
unusual.
yeah, yeah, it's not typical. So
Or it's a throwback
anyways,
to our early episodes. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
It's an homage.
172. It's an homage to episode 2. Yeah. So really make sure you like, share, subscribe in all the places. We'd appreciate it. Reviews on podcast directories are great. Again, if you feel like supporting us, maybe get Andrew a new router. I don't know. Like you can do that on Spotify. You can support us there. And yeah, if nothing else, I will go to our monthly fee to do restream so we can stream in multiple places like we do. So that's always an option for you. And otherwise, we might be back with Penguins soon. Otherwise, we
Mhm.
have lots of anime to talk about as well. Don has started, and
Mhm.
I need to get
I'm
going through
finishing
Terminator.
Zero. Yep.
Yep. When you're done with Free Run, if you're still on that, let me know.
Yep.
So yeah, got lots of anime to talk about, and that'll be our Ohio Anime Podcast. So yeah, that'll be it from us. Andrea, thanks for joining me, and we'll see everybody next time.
Thanks for sticking with me. Cheers, everybody.